Oh, hi guys, here I am again. Um, anyway, now I just wanted to talk a little bit about Celery Queen Jean Tuitt Productions. I will always have that. Like I said, under some of my social media, I may still say just Celery Queen Jean or Celery Queen Jean Tuitt, or I may still have the Celery Queen Jean Tuitt Productions. Anyway, some people mentioned it might be a little long for, social media handles supposedly should be shorter. But that doesn't mean like if I have a production company, oops, I will need help and I will need to be making a lot more money so that I can pay people to help me. How's that? So, or win the lotto. So, I'm down to my last couple dollars again. So, on gas money. So I'm going to work diligently out of my place. Monday I did a bunch of housework which needed to be done. I've always wanted, like I said before, I always wanted to be married with a ton of kids and a big house, but I would have had to have money to do that. Like I would need maid service. I mean, it's a lot. Just for me and my dog and cat in my apartment. I mean, it's a lot. But anyway, back to the subject. Creative people do tend to have a little ADHD ish qualities. Uh, Once again, remember it's good to take that GABA and different things, which I haven't taken lately. But that helps you, and of course, if you get rid of the parasites, that helps too. Like Angela recommends, I need to do just put some drops in my coffee, the wormwood and black walnut, and then the clove pills, whatever you can. But I have some cloves too that actually you can just put in things too. But anyway, so okay, back to Earth. Okay, so no wonder I don't have more followers. No, I'm not putting myself down. I mean, bear with me. If you want to, there's gems in all of these. If anybody wants to offer to come in and help me edit some of these things and make them into shorter clips, we can work out a future arrangement. So, and I'm single if you're available. So, if you're, whatever. So, oh, so, but yeah, I need a strong editor and a videographer or cinematographer or whatever. But, believe it or not, we have to do a lot of this on our auditions. This thing, it keeps sliding. I don't know what's going on with it. There it goes. I think I'm in view. Hopefully, let me back up a bit. So, I'm trying to do it the right way. I'm not, sort of the cheat factor is when you do it as a selfie video, but then I think that's less personable. And I think when you do it as a selfie video, people can tell that you've done it as a selfie video, whereas right now I'm filming it, directly into the camera, the right way as you would do for your self-taped auditions, or if you go to a casting office and do your auditions, or if you want to make a personal video for anyone, it's better to do it like that. But anyway, um, yeah, if you ever saw the movie Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. Well, I'm in Waco, so, and the truth be known, I mean, I was in so much grief after my mom passed from cancer, and I moved out to LA the first time. I had a tiny little insurance business where I was working out of my home, but I sold it. You basically just sell your policy, your policy holders to, basically your book, a little book of business. I had a smaller book of business to a couple of different agencies. This was like 22 years ago. Then, of course, years later, I kind of got back into it on and off, but have done the substitute teaching, and you know what? I don't care if people judge my life, because you know what? I have done a lot of things that a lot of people have been afraid to do. And and I will talk a minute about the DoorDash videos, which I've been really inspired by her too, because now she's driving all over Washington delivering Amazon or DoorDash. But she's doing both. She does like deliveries, but she works out of her car with her dog, small dog. But of course, she has a newer car. She's a lot younger. She's in her 40s. So she's a lot younger than me. And she's kind of like the age I was the first time I moved out to LA. But once again, that kind of backtracks. She's doing kind of a interesting life, you know. So, but being older, you have to kind of like, I need, even if it's a tiny place, I need a ground zero. I need a base camp, okay? So this is like my base camp, if you know anything about a movie set. This apartment with no dishwasher and no washer dryer and, you know, and lots of books and stuff. I mean, we could film in here if you want to. Um, I did on my Facebook page, under acting coach, some guy was telling us about the fact that he has got some different properties where he doesn't mind if we come and film on his properties. And so in the future, once again, you can start out as a producer as a broke person, just like you can start out doing anything as a broke person. The first time I went into insurance back in 1991, I was a broke person. Strictly commission, just working out of my place, just smiling and dialing. I mean, you can really do it, you know. It's kind of like in the movie, back to the movie, Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. So back to being a producer, I've taken different classes in that, and I've taken classes in screenwriting and all the different things. And I can technically be a script analyst or a publicist, all these different things. I mean, I caught that whole bug back in 2003. And that's another reason I kind of went sort of, I'm not going to use the word broke, so I'm going to say BROKE because, you know, like Angela says, our sentence is our sentence, and, you know, but that was then, this is now, but I've learned from it, and moving forward, up until now, and now I'm moving forward with everything, although my whole life has been like that, and a lot of that is from CSA, I mean, like, but you know what, I sort of am resilient, and my parents were really good at being industrious and working hard, and I have those genes in me too, you know. So, but kind of like that rugged individualist, you know, type of thing. Oh, I can't think of the other. I'll think of it later. There's another term for it, but basically. To be a producer, all you really have to do is just start making projects, and you can make projects for free, okay? And that's what we do anyway when we're doing our self-tapes. And so when you think about it, but then those are other people's projects that I'm auditioning for, okay? So, and sometimes it's okay to, you know, after the project's been booked, you can post your clips, and of course I have my other little, even smaller than this, YouTube channel, and then I've posted them on Vimeo and different things, some of my other auditions for some of the things I didn't book, but and a lot of cinematographers actually make a living helping you make your self-tapes, but then I've had to learn, as most actors have, how to make the self-tapes, and it's very similar to just making a YouTube video. But anyway, and some agents and managers get real picky about all that, and some about the quality of it, and it's more cinematic and everything. But most of them really only care about the acting. They don't care as much about the lighting and the all the other stuff. So that's something that's a little bit of a pain point for me, because I've had agents say, oh, you need to go do that over, and then, you know, like, and then I even had to pay for it, was barely, whatever, you know, talk about money, our sentence is our sentence anyway, so, but sometimes I felt like my best take was some of the ones I did myself, because, from an acting standpoint. But anyway, and the best actor doesn't necessarily get the role, or it doesn't necessarily mean that the actor that got it is a better actor or not as good an actor as the actor that got it, that for whatever reason, the timing, the other actor fit in with it more. They might have looked more like they would be married to that person, or like they would be the you know, the daughter or the son, or they would be the parent of those kids, or the grandparents, or they would look more like they were related as a sister, or the dynamic of boss and, whatever the characters are, the dynamics felt better with the other characters. So, and that happens too. Although I have had casting directors tell me that occasionally, and I've never actually auditioned for a big series regular role or anything. Although I have auditioned for some pilots that didn't get off the ground for the leading role in pilots. However, and some of them, those were kind of funny. I forgot to mention those the other day. The other guy from Borat, the other friend of his, whatever, it would have been with him as a trailer people, whatever. So I need to see if I can find her again. But anyway, that was quite some time ago. But basically, when you're auditioning, you're doing all this, and but when you have your own script, if you can finish one, now I've started several, it's very difficult. And in your mind, you're going, oh my God, I don't have time to write. At least with acting, you're something you're doing, you're memorizing, you're getting it up. It's like being a salesperson, even though you're using your acting craft and you're being creative and you're getting in the moment and the character and the moment before and all the stuff, theater, and you've done theater and everything. I've done all that. So, but at least it's boom, boom, boom. Either you get it or you don't. Whereas with writing, it can continue and go on, and in your mind, it's like late at night, I should be writing that script now. I should be finishing that. And you're always like beating yourself up, And of course, just as many film scripts get tossed out as actors' headshots and resumes get thrown out in Hollywood all the time. I mean, it's, there's no point in me badgering, our sentences are sentences, saying how hard it is, whatever. If we were to make our own project, which is very difficult, but I know people that have. And Angela's made a lot of great movies and everything, but a lot of people I know have. And but what I'm saying is if you build it, they will come. I mean, that's like a dream, like in Field of Dreams, okay? So the main thing is to get a script, whether you write it or somebody else writes it. Now I have that friend of mine, Patricia, has a script. That we've talked about, and I've interviewed her. You can go back and look for that about Frances Stein. She's a very kind of a dark character. It's very edgy. I mean, it would be great for like Lifetime mysteries movies, or lots of different things. It could be like a film, or it could be a TV series. She was like thinking about more like a series, because this woman had a series of relationships. It's kind of scary. It would make a lot of men afraid to date women at this point, it's like, because she's like a scary woman. And she is like so young and slim and attractive and what men idolize. But, men do that not because men are stupid, That's not why. And when I was younger, I was very attractive also. I mean, I was very pretty. I was very skinny and young and, all the stuff. But I was very clueless. And I was very sweet, and I was too sweet and too doormatty and all the stuff, and too naive and all the stuff. You would think I wouldn't be because of what I went through with my dad, but then I was still in denial about what happened to me, and all men are like that and whatever. So, but back to the thing about being a producer, anybody could just say, I'm a producer. It's kind of like saying, I'm going to sell insurance. You just have to go out and study, get all the licenses, study and pass the tests, and then you're on your own. Like when I worked at Prudential, one of my sales managers says, now you're on your own. I mean, it's like, because he went on some sales calls with me, but then he got discouraged about some of the customers that we would go. I mean, we were able to close some deals, but sometimes I didn't pre-qualify people. I mean, first of all, you have to find people with some money to pay the bills when you're in sales. And if you were trying to get people to help you as a movie producer, or somebody to buy your script or whatever, they need to have some money to buy it, I mean, look what these big movie studios go through with all these huge multi-million-dollar projects. They got all these people. Of course, a lot of them have been going through layoffs with the economy and everything, but it's like a large machine. Like Hollywood's like a big machine. And also, on that subject, people are kind of leery about all that, but Hollywood has been kind of cleaned up a lot, according to what I follow, because, I started out in the news business, and I was in that business for quite some time, too, on a smaller level, small newspapers, reporter, editor, everything. But basically, I'm going to go ahead and clip this because I want to, in a minute, because I want to make sure this is taking on here and how it looks. Since I'm doing it the other way, I need to really make a mark on here where to set this little stand, kind of like you do when you're actually being filmed on set. They have your mark that you have to stand on when you're, and they do that for auditions too. Well, back in the day when we went on in-person auditions, but so that you're always in frame of the camera in the right place or where they want you to start out, and then you move around, and then sometimes they have, but they don't always have a person to follow you around. It's so. But anyway, if back to the Field of Dreams concept, the great movie with, what was it, Kevin Costner? Oh, and one of my acting coaches was in that, Steve Easton, and is one of the ball players, and. But anyway, if you build it, they will come. And that Kevin Costner thing, that gets into a whole nother thing about the imposters. I had started to get a whole team of them going on me, just like the Pitt ones did. And so now that Pitt has formally got a girlfriend now, the Pitt imposters have laid low now with me. So that was a whole nother thing that just kind of threw me off, and I was going through grief, and I kept starting to dream of him and everything. It was really something. Because I'd seen him in person. I talked about that before. I saw him and Tarantino and DiCaprio, and oh my God, I was just so enamored. But, I wasn't the only one. And, a lot of it's the excitement. And the whole business has a lot of excitement to it. And that's why people get excited at first. But then when they see how hard it is, they just sort of go, oh, well, I have a confession to make. The first time I moved to LA, I was thinking, okay, I already knew I was like older and chubby and not as cute as I used to be. I used to be really, we all were. We all were a lot cuter when we were in our 20s. So, and I went out there the first time in 2003 in my 40s. So I thought, well, instead of worrying about the acting, which I really wanted to do both, because I'd done all that in high school, musicals and dance recitals and different roles and things. And but I really thought, since I had a degree in journalism and people told me I was a pretty good writer too, I'm better on stage as a performer than as a writer, but I'm really not bad as a writer either. So, I came up with some really good stories. Sometimes the editors would get kind of mad at me because sometimes my writing can get kind of like when I'm talking to you, it gets a little much. So, and that's the way when you're a creative person, you think of a lot of different things. But back to being a producer, you need a script, and you need a good script. And so really one of the most important things, or maybe if not the most important things, you need a story. And I wanted to get hats off to the writers. So when I first moved out to LA, I thought I'd be a screenwriter. Well, for some reason, I had thought, well, that would be easier than being an actor. Well, not necessarily. And it's being an actor. Well, you can be an actor and be a good actor and go to acting classes and go on auditions and be an extra and be in theater or whatever you want to do, but you won't necessarily make money at it. So making money at either one is difficult. But actually, making money as a screenwriter, in my opinion, and actually I've talked to a lot of people about this in the industry, making money as a screenwriter is actually even more difficult than making money as an actor because, well, we got a little bit of a thunderstorm situation here. But anyway, so I thought, well, I'll just start writing screenplays. Well, I would always just get lost in translation. I'd just start out, And you know, I want to write about, you know, different things, and then you think about stuff that you've been through, whether it's trauma or comedy, lots of stuff. So I've come up with some ideas for couple sitcoms based on my time. It's kind of like a dramedy and or sitcom type of thing based on my experiences in the news business, small newspapers, reporter, editor, blah, 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 and also as an insurance agent. Lots of crazy experiences. I mean, truth is stranger than fiction. I mean, a lot of crazy stories, a lot of things happen to me. I might collaborate. I started to collaborate with some guy, but he had changed it up so much. And he was from the New York Film School, but we're still talking. Of course, he's still trying to do all this, but then he took the smart route to be a school teacher for a while to make a better income. I think he still lives out in California though. But anyway, and he got married and everything. I mean, it gets expensive. But of course, I followed a lot of great writers, Michael Jamin and different ones that have a lot of experience. And his wife's an actress, and but he's done some acting. So I mean, you can do both. But I'll be honest with you, it takes a lot of discipline and a lot to really be good at it and be consistent. And everybody thinks, oh, it's just like all bells and whistles. But back to the other thing, not everybody in Hollywood is evil and going to evil parties with evil people wearing masks and horns. You know, they're lighting out a lot of demons. I mean, there are some, but I think there's some in every industry. And according to a lot of people, there's a lot that goes on at all kinds of levels. You've got to really be alert, you know, so, and not be, you know, fooled by people. So, but yeah, you can just do it. You just have to get in there, and then that's a whole nother thing. There's a lot of classes on that. Maybe if I can maybe eventually get some producers on here or directors and writers and interview them. If y'all want to come on my little measly little channel, no, our sentences are sentence, no, that was then, this is now. I mean, you know, and I will even dress up for you better. I'll fix my hair and makeup, maybe get a haircut and everything, and stuff, do, you know, look better, and I'll have my microphone on. I do have it, look. But for some reason, I don't have it charged up right now, but see, I have these, and I even have two of them, so if I had somebody in here, we could interview together. So, but yeah, it's a lot. You have to, I've done it before, you have to figure it out. You have to plug this into this and that, and you know, it's always something. So, but yeah, that's basically it. Sometimes you have to do the kind of work that you're not crazy about to make an income to get the kind of work that you want to do. But then some people are able to make a living almost full-time in all the creative fields by wearing different hats, and it's a lot. They do fundraising, you know, like the GoFundMe for films and independent films. There's a lot that people are doing. So, but anyway, I mean, it's a lot to learn on all of it. So